The salty breeze carried the scent of cotton candy and ocean waves across Santa Monica Pier. Tourists laughed, children squealed on rides, and street performers strummed guitars under the golden California sun. In the middle of the crowd sat Emily, a 14-year-old girl in a wheelchair, her brown hair tied back in a loose braid. She had cerebral palsy, and though her body sometimes betrayed her, her spirit was stronger than most. Her father, Mark, had brought her here to remind her that life could still be beautiful despite the struggles they faced every day. Emily's eyes lit up as she watched a young boy win a giant stuffed bear from a ring toss game. "Daddy, do you think I could try?" she asked, her voice hopeful. Mark knelt beside her, smiling. "Of course you can, sweetheart. Let's go give it a shot." But before they could roll over to the booth, 3 teenagers stepped in their way. They were tall, rough-looking, with the careless arrogance of boys who thrived on attention. The tallest one sneered and stepped directly in front of Emily's wheelchair. "Move, cripple," he barked, his words like a knife slicing through the air. Emily froze, her cheeks burning red as people nearby turned their heads but quickly looked away. Mark's fists clenched, but before he could respond, the second boy kicked the side of her wheelchair, jolting Emily so hard she almost toppled forward. The laughter of the bullies cut through the cheerful music of the pier. "Bet she can't even feel it," one mocked. The third leaned down, whispering cruelly, "Why don't you just stay home? You're ruining everyone's view." Emily's eyes filled with tears, but she bit her lip, refusing to give them the satisfaction of crying out loud. Mark moved protectively in front of her, his voice shaking with controlled anger. "Back off, now." But the boys didn't listen. They circled, taunting, their kicks and shoves escalating. And still, people watched, but no one stepped in. Phones came out, some recording, but no helping hands. Emily's heart sank. Was this all the world would ever see her as? A burden, an easy target? Then, just as one of the boys leaned in for another cruel push, a deep rumble echoed through the pier. At first it was faint, like distant thunder. Then it grew louder, closer. The ground almost vibrated beneath them. The bullies turned, frowning as dozens of motorcycles rolled in, chrome shining beneath the sun. They came in a formation, one after another, engines growling like lions announcing their presence. Leather vests bore patches with names like Guardians of the Road and Brothers in Arms. The sea of bikers stopped in unison, surrounding Emily and her father in a protective circle. The leader, a broad-shouldered man with a gray beard and kind but fierce eyes, dismounted his bike. His boots thudded heavily as he stepped forward, glaring at the stunned bullies. "You boys think you're tough, picking on a little girl." His voice was steady, powerful, commanding silence from everyone around. The bullies stammered, suddenly small under his gaze. We didn't mean," one began, but the man cut him off. "Then you'd better apologize." Right now, the pier had gone silent. Even the seagulls seemed to pause in midair. Emily blinked up at the man, her tears still fresh, but now mixed with awe. One of the bikers, a woman with tattoos winding down her arms, knelt beside Emily. She smiled warmly. "Sweetheart, you okay? They didn't hurt you too bad, did they?" Emily shook her head, unable to speak. For the first time since the bullies appeared, she felt safe. The teenagers muttered quick apologies, their voices shaking. The gray, bearded leader wasn't satisfied. "Say it like you mean it. Look her in the eye." And so they did, stumbling over their words, red-faced and ashamed. Then, without waiting for further punishment, they bolted into the crowd, disappearing. The bikers didn't cheer or boast. Instead, they turned to Emily. The leader knelt down, meeting her eye level. "Don't you ever forget this, little one," he said. "You're stronger than they'll ever be. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." Mark's throat tightened. He whispered, thank you all." One biker handed Emily a small leather bracelet with the group's emblem stamped into it. "Whenever you wear this, remember, you've got family on the road. We protect our own." Emily smiled through her tears, gripping the bracelet like a treasure. The sea of motorcycles roared back to life, but before leaving, the leader raised a hand to the crowd, his voice booming. "If you see someone being hurt, don't just stand there. Be the shield." The crowd erupted in applause. Some wiped tears from their eyes, ashamed they hadn't stepped in sooner. As the bikers disappeared into the horizon, Emily looked at her father, her voice soft but certain. "Daddy, today I learned something. There are bullies in this world, but there are heroes too. And sometimes they ride motorcycles." Mark hugged her tightly, whispering, "That's right, sweetheart, that's right." That night, Emily posted a picture of the bracelet online, telling her story. Within hours, it went viral. Messages of love and support flooded in. Thousands of strangers wrote, "You are not alone. We stand with you." The bullies, forgotten. But Emily, she became a symbol of resilience, and a reminder that kindness and courage can roar louder than cruelty. And every time she looked at that bracelet, she knew, no matter how hard life got, she would never face it alone.